Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 12th episode of Stay Active Movement 4075 Kovai. We have here with us our co-founder Akash Magankar and I'm Jagannathan, founder Stay Active Movement. A small introduction brief about what Stay Active Movement is all about. Akash, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I'm able to see your screen.
Thank you, Akash. Today's topic is 5 benefits of having a will. And before we move on into the topic, a brief introduction about what Kovai is all about. Okay, our online programs, which happens on every Tuesdays between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., are focused on the following 3 segments. One is the seniors. The second will be the family as such. So, which means the senior is in a family. So, it involves the senior and the family. And the third will be the caregivers, the person who's taking care of the senior in the family. So, these are the three sectors which we are focusing on. All our programs are focused either one of these or a combination of these things. So, today we have with us Mr. Akash, who will take you into the subject. Akash, over to you. I'll stop the screen sharing.
Yes, thank you very much. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing today? I think we are a very small group today. Will is definitely a very sensitive topic. So, I think we are just avoiding talking about the sensitive topic. But before we go on, just trying to understand from each and every one of you. I think that we are all here, and we have decided. You have decided the next 60 minutes. You're going to learn something about will. Why don't we have a lot more in-depth, intimate conversation? So let me, you already know me. I am the co-founder at Stay Active Movement. I also run a company by name Relativity. So has Jagan been. He is the founder of this movement, and he also consults for a very, very, very long time. What about all of you? I know Venkatesh Soundarajans, Sumati TK, both of you are ardent audience. Thank you, Sumati and Venkatesh, for always being with us in our webinars. What about Sanjay? What about Ravi? What about Pavitra and Krishnamurti? Can you sorry, can you tell us a bit about yourself? And maybe Sumati and Venkatesh, you could also, tell a bit about yourself. Just even 10, 15, 20 seconds. That should also be fine. Let's make this a very comprehensive, intimate webinar. Why don't we do that? You guys have the rights to unmute and speak if you want to. Krishnamurti, you have unmuted. Please go ahead.
I am Krishnamurthy. I am working in a private organization.
Beautiful.
And I am native of Coimbatore, currently working in Coimbatore.
Fantastic. What if I can ask Krishnamurti, what brings you to this webinar?
So, just I want to understand about will. Maybe we have been heard about it, but I have not known much about this. So, by joining this webinar, I may be understanding about the more information about this will. So, it is one of the important document in safeguarding the assets and how we can get it from my grandparents or parents, how it will help us to safeguard our assets, or the partition, how it can benefit between the brothers.
Wonderful. Krishnamurti, thank you so much for taking the lead there's always somebody who should go first, right? Thank you, Krishnamurti, for going first.
Thank you for this
And
opportunity. Thank
yes,
you.
and we're going to, whatever you have said is what exactly my slides will cover. We're not we're not going too much in depth into the technicalities of the will, right? But then whatever Krishnamurti mentioned in his, okay, this is what I'm searching for. This is what I'm looking for. I'm sure we're going to cover all of that and probably a little bit more as well. What about Ravi? What about Sanjay? Sumati, Venkatesh, you guys have something to contribute? Please go ahead. Yeah, Ravi, you have unmuted.
Good
Please.
evening.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. So this is Ravi. I'm currently based in Bombay. I have 15 years of BFSI experience, and I'm currently associated with a third generation family-run mutual fund distributor. I'm also a level two. I mean, a part of the QPFP certification by Network safety. I've just completed my level two. Would be finishing the level three by the end of May. What got me interested is the fact of estate planning, and I believe this was a more different approach towards the whole concept of will. So I'm more curious about those things. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ravi, for speaking to us. I'm so glad that you come from the economic capital of India. Welcome to our webinar, and many wishes for running one of the most impossible tasks of the world. And you know what? Keeping the trains going. The local trains of Bombay are one of the world famous ones. So thank you so much. Anybody else would like to speak? This is the time. Otherwise, let me go ahead. Yes, somebody's.
Good evening. I'm Venkatesh
Hi,
here. Hi,
Venkatesh.
hi.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. I'm Venkatesh from Coimbatore. Yes, I'm glad to be here, part of it. So, I am little aware of wills and how to execute and all, because we have gone through in our family and all. It's a supportive document which helps to keep track how the property should pass on to within the family or to the known people or relatives, whoever they want to transfer the assets in a systematic manner after their demise. It will be a supporting document. This is the knowledge I have about will. And this is the thing. Am I clear on it?
Absolutely, you are bang on right. That is exactly what a will does. Very true.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Venkatesh ji. So myself, Jagan, Venkatesh, we all are knitted commonly through a forum called BNI. Venkatesh, Jagan, and Sumati are also knitted through a common forum called what is it called in Coimbatore, Jagan?
Track.
Track, yeah. Your TA forum, right? So that's the track at Coimbatore. So that's why we four know each other quite well, a bit. But yes, moving on, we'll quickly cover two aspects. One, what are the benefits? And second, very important, what are the fundamentals of a will? So having a will is better than not having one at all, right? So that's the premise that I'm going to encourage all of us to look at. And it's never it's never a destination. Okay, this is the most perfect will to have. It's never going to be like that. So instead of not having something, we can have something, and then from there we can make it better. We can make version 1.1, version 1.2, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's the aspect that we're going to cover. And let's look at some numbers. I mean, when I did some research on this topic, these are the numbers that came to my face, like out of the system. I've heard 2 lakh crores are assets under dispute okay, something which is very important, is only in the last 10 years. Only in the last 10 years. The total assets under dispute, Jagan, you won't believe, is somewhere about 16 lakh crores. Yeah, it's a
It's huge.
huge number, right? Our median timeline for a court case, if it goes until the Supreme Court, the median timeline is 11.2 years. And the maximum time it has taken is about 21 years for Supreme Court to give its verdict, beyond which there is absolutely no no appeal, right? 66, that is 2/3 of civil cases are asset related. 2/3 of civil cases are asset related. And all of these, some way or the other, have been contributed because of disputes, family disputes of assets. And what is a will at the end of the day? That's why will is important. So we've now understood how important a will is, because we don't want to be a part of this. We definitely don't want any of our assets to get locked for such a long time, for so many years. I remember in my own family, we had a few elders at home uh, who did have a difficult time, and the property then only got released to their grandchildren. So in the elders generation they had a dispute. In the next generation, that is the elders children's generation, they continued the dispute via a court case. By the time there was a grandchild born, and now it's the grandchild who's actually benefiting. The elder as well as the children of the elders were not able to benefit because of this long-standing dispute. So that is something that we don't want, right? So what is a will? In very simple layman terms, will is legal declaration of distribution of assets among beneficiaries, right? It is a legally bound. Whatever I write in plain simple English is a legal declaration of distribution of assets among the beneficiaries. It is applicable only after death. A lot of people think, oh my God, what if somebody takes the will, and runs away? It's of no use, because the person who has written the will is alive, right? And it impacts both movable as well as immovable assets. A lot of times people think will is only for immovable assets, it's only for property. Actually, it's not. It is for that individual. Whatever the individual wants to do can be carried out through a will. And I don't know if you'd be surprised to know that I know a person who wrote in his will how he wants to be cremated. Right? So that's his wish, and that is what he wrote as a part of his will as well. Right? So it is an absolutely legally valid document, in the Indian context, in the context of the world, so across the world. What is an extraordinarily important point to note is that it is revocable at your will. Whenever you want, you can revoke the will that you have written. Yes. And this I have seen so many times when I speak, myself and Chegan, we work very closely with senior citizens. They have written some will, subsequently some changes happen in the family. They are not taken care of. They can just rewrite the will and destroy this, right? So it is revocable at your will because life changes. So typically, a good time frame to keep looking at the will is annually. Every year, you should review the will, see if it still holds good. If you want to make modifications, if you have sold some assets, remove them from the will. If you have if you have bought some new assets which you want to distribute, or you have a plan of distributing, bring them onto your will. If you have a will which you have written before some of your family members got married, and now they have got married, which means there is another beneficiary you may or you may not want to bring onto the will. Annually once is a good time for you to decide whether this will holds good. If it doesn't hold good, just destroy it, write a fresh one again. So it is revocable at your will. This is the point that I want to drive.
Akash, I have a doubt here.
Yes.
Normally people tell like once you write a will, you need to register with the register of companies, right? Register, right? Document with the legal authorities, right? Now, when you revise it at end of an year, then again you need to re-register your document, correct?
That is right. Yes. So, Jagan, one of the myths that we want to break today is that it is not that a registered will is the only valid document. Even an unregistered will is a valid document.
Okay.
So a will is not valid only if it is registered. A will is also valid if it is not registered, but is executed appropriately.
Okay.
Right? Even an unregistered will has equal validity of a registered will. But to answer your question, let us say I have a will that I have registered with the sub-registrar's office, and if I am making revision, I will have to cancel the earlier registration and make sure that I re-register this one. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Right. Thank you.
So one of the myths that exists is the will has to be registered for it to be valid, and that's not true. We'll get into a little bit of fundamentals of the will in the subsequent slides, but before that, let's look at what how these benefits show up rather than what the benefits are. Let's look at how these benefits show up. One of the biggest benefits of writing a will is assignment of assets. So let us say you have, for example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 assets, movable, immovable, whatever they are, and you want to assign specific assets to specific people. A, B, and C to, maybe your spouse, D and E to person A, E, G, F, H to person B. Anything is possible. So your assignment of assets is what the will is going to do. Right? And it need not be only property, it could also be your bank accounts, the balance in the bank accounts, your shares that you're holding, the mutual funds that you have. Everything can be used for assignment of assets. Even physical gold, jewelry, silver, anything of value is whatever can be called as an asset can be itemized and assigned on a will. Right? So this makes sure that all the assignments happen appropriately. Another very important benefit is preventing intestacy. What is intestacy? Let us say, I die without a will. What is going to happen? The state is going to decide who is going to get what, depending on certain laws. Right? And that law may be an outdated law. Like, for example, currently, the state is going to decide, okay, this person has passed away. He has no will. So it is going to go to the legal heirs. Yeah, that's the law we follow. And under the legal heirs, you have the married people, you have the unmarried people, you have the minors. All of these are again governed by acts. You have specific acts acts for Muslims, you have specific acts for non-Muslim governance as well. So instead of the state deciding to whom your assets should go, why don't you decide when you are alive to whom assets should go? Isn't that a lot more better way of guardianship of minors? And this many times is not spoken, because what we think is we will only die when we are 80, when we are 85, when we are 90, when we are 95, or when we are 100. We do not consider that death is not something that is in our control, right? So it can happen anytime, unfortunately. That's the practicality of life. We want to live to 100, but will we live to 100 or not? Nobody's sure, right? And in that process, we have children, we have minors who have not attained 18 years of age. What about them? Who's going to get what? Right? So the guardianship of minors, okay, who is going to guard them until they become 18? Right? So all of that can also be discussed in the will. I'm saying can, it need not be, it is not a must, but it can. I had a client once, and Jagan, this is maybe something that maybe you may also have noticed, right?
Yeah.
They have especially differently abled children, right? What about such guardianship of differently abled children? Not only guardianship of differently abled children, maybe there is a child who is able, and then there is a child who is not able. Okay. As per the legal hire formula, both of them are seen as children, and both of them are going to get equal share. But is that fair? Is that fair? Not at all, right? The reason is the person who is able has the ability that is not available with the specially abled or disabled person. So the care required for this person is more than the care required for this person. Right? So of something to do with specially abled. And it need not be only a physical disability. It need not be a physical disability. What if we have what I'm not getting that word, Jagan. They say extraordinary children. No, what are they called?
You mean on the positive side?
Yeah, on the positive side. Yes.
Autism.
Yes. That is right. Yeah. Can you spell that for me, please?
AUSTISM.
Autism kids. Yes, autism kids is there, but on the positive side, which means they are extraordinarily talented. They get double PhDs even before they are 15, 16. Those kids have some specific name.
Prodigies.
Prodigies. Yes. That is right. Correct. So Jagan, I have seen families who have beneath a little more for the support of these kind of children until they are 21, because they are exhibiting some extraordinary talent, right? Though this
Yes.
may not be applicable for each and every individuals out there, but I'm still giving you the context of the land, so that maybe there is some resonance we don't know. Something beyond this is also to do with reducing family conflicts. Now, this is a very, very important concept that will accomplishes to help, right? What is going to happen after, the person has left this earth, if it is left to the will of the individuals? Instead, it is your will that Person A has to get this, person B has to get this, person C has to get this, and person D has to get this. Simple. There is no room for them to fight over it. Preventing family breakups. How many of you think that you have seen families break in the process of property distribution? I mean, the examples are aplenty, right?
Akash, you are talking about bigger value items, no, like land, building. But I've seen families fighting for bangles.
Yes.
Like their sisters, till they get married, they exchange. Like you take my bangle, I take your bangle. But after marriage, it's totally a different scenario. Like you gave her 4 bangles, you gave me 4 bangles, but her weight is 2 grams more than what you gave me. Even saris, right? For Diwali, when they give all those trivial things, they start getting into conflicts, right? And I've seen for no reason, they don't speak for years together.
Or years together. Yes, yes. Because they blame each other,
Yes.
right? Not the dead person. They blame each other. And that leads to family breakups. One of the ways of how a will is going to prevent it by proper diplomacy, of course. By proper diplomacy is, okay, it was her wish or his wish that this is how it has to be distributed. And that is what is happening. Right? We saw 2 classic examples, of course, when Shri Ratan Tata passed away, the details of his will are out, right? He doesn't have a actual family, so it's okay. But a very sore thing happened with the Reliance brothers, the Dhirubhai Ambani brothers. Do you know? There was a big tussle where many years after their father passed away. And the father left a lot of bigger, you know, traditional industries in favor of Mukesh Ambani, and the more growing non-traditional industries in favor of the younger brother, who's Anil Ambani. And for them to come to this agreement that, yeah, this is what the father wished for, took about 4.5 years. But ultimately they reconciled. Otherwise, imagine a corporate behemoth worth about 1.5 lakh crores getting entangled because of a conflict. So that is also a way to protect the family business, the family history, the tradition, and so on and so much. You could also look at preserving certain family legacies or traditions. When difficult times come, we don't know to what extent somebody may go. Let us say there is uh, a piece of art which has been carried out from one family to another, passed on from one generation to another. How can that be preserved? Right, is by making sure that it is mentioned in the will, and is whatever this person wishes for it to happen is written in the will as well. I, we are at Coimbatore, and near Coimbatore, there is a town called Pollachi. We all know, right? Whoever are from this side, we all know that. And Jagan, I know of a family who who were quite big lords. And one of the family tradition that they had was, something that they would have like this, a wooden piece, but it was made out of brass and quite complicated metals. Yeah, that in every person's will in that family, it has been mandated in the will that it cannot be sold. And today it has come to the 18th generation. So that is how they are preserving that family legacy or family traditions. If something is of that sort in our family or tradition as well. Distribution to chosen people. Legal hireship is not the chosen people. They are the people who are our legal hires. But let's say there are some significant people who have, helped us in our life. And you would like to show your gratitude by gifting them something after your departure. This is so only a will can allow it. Nobody else can allow it. No other system will be able to allow it. And very, very importantly, giving or for charitable contributions. Giving could be for anything, right? You want to give to a cause that you believe in, you want to give to your, we call Kuladaivam, your family deity, you want to give for the development of something, you want to give for the welfare of your society, of your hometown, whatever may be the cause. But for giving or for charitable contribution, there is space only in the will after your departure. Until that time, no other legal system allows this to happen after your departure. So an asset can be yours until you are there, and after you are not there, can serve the purpose that you want it to serve. How great it is. These are the benefits of the will, ladies and gentlemen. And before we move on, I just want to take a minute and check with all of you here. Is there something else that you feel that I have not covered, or if there is something that you wish to share at this point in time? Please, you can unmute and you can speak. We are quite a cohesive group, so let's make use of our fewer numbers and discuss and exchange more ideas and give more value to each other. So is there some benefit that you would like to share, which you've got to know over your journey, or probably something that you feel is there which you never knew? What do you say, Jagan? Was there something that is giving you a different kind of a perspective?
Yes, Akash. Like this particular slide, I agree with all the points. See, like I've seen many people in my community, in my neighborhood, and from my friends, uh, what happens is there's always most of them have a shift in the will during the final few years. Probably once they cross 70, they say let me rewrite the will. Or suddenly they find a lot of these, uh, provided they have enough money, they have a certain percentage of money offset for charitable activities.
Yes.
That is what one thing which I wanted to ask you. Is it a trend or is it a soul searching which gets answered during the final years? Or is it that they feel like, okay, I've done enough, I've gained enough, let me giving back to the community? Is it something like that? That is one thing what struck me. The second important point is that what you've written there is preventing family breakups. It happens. I've seen families not speaking for 30 years, 40 years. Right from the day I knew them, they were not talking to another family, my relatives.
I
The
know.
simple reason, some dispute which happened 2 generations back.
2 generations back. Yeah.
Their grandfather did something. Now it is getting reflected upon these 2 families. We like to get some suggestions or sharing from the other people also, Akash.
Sure. The
Sir,
floor is open.
good evening. My name is Sanjay and I'm 64 years old and basically retired. So now I like to attend all these your informative presentations. So I just have one doubt. That is, you said a registered will can be superseded by a unregistered will. But suppose it is forcefully written because the gentleman has become old. So how do you prove that, or how do you contest that, or is there any, you can throw some light on that, sir?
Yes. So
Thank
so let me clarify the understanding. A registered will, an unregistered will is as valid as a registered will, but both of them will not work tandem to each other. So if there is a registered will already, we'll have to register the revised will for it to be valid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the unregistered will has no relevance.
I would not say no relevance, but it can be easily contested.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, as you rightly said, some the other family members could say, no, see, when my dad was well or when my mom was well, she has registered the will. So this will has come out of force, can be very easily contested. So if the route of registration is taken, everything should be registered. All the amendments should be registered. Or if it is not registered, it's absolutely fine. But nothing should be registered.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And on these aspects, like how Jagan was mentioning, that we don't know whether it is going to be soul searching or wanting to do philanthropic activities, but probably, something that gives satisfaction, if I may say, Jagan. Yeah.
Yes, Akash.
So just I want
Yes.
to understand, what is is there any abbreviation on will? Is there any abbreviation or
The abbreviation, okay, there is no abbreviation of will. Will is a legal word
okay?
defined by the legal system worldwide.
And sir, whatever the points you have been covered, it is very, very true. When the elderly people, if they want to do something good for their children, when they have been very matured enough, they can write this will and they can hand over to their children, or they can keep it in the
Exactly.
safe place. So because of this, now the family conflicts, breakups, everything was happening. Even there
Absolutely.
are people will not talk for almost decades, and even and again their children's, they will not talk. So all these things I'm personally undergoing also, and I'm seen as well.
Thing as well, right?
So
Right. I'm sure
thanks,
that's
thanks for putting up so that these are all the informations where luckily even I can convince my parents to at least do some legal document on this.
absolutely very true.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So moving on, when we look at what all a will should contain. Now this is how a will is built, right? What all should it contain? Do I advocate the presence or the use of lawyers and advocates for writing a will? Yes. But is it a must? No. Supreme Court has also held in many judgments that a plain will which has no legal language is equally valid to a will which has all the legal language. So just because we are not using the services of a lawyer or an advocate for writing the will does not also make it invalid. But there are certain building blocks. That is what we are going to cover now. The first and foremost is we need to ensure that we talk about the declaration and purpose of the document that we are creating. A declaration is that, what's our name? Because it is a legal document. What's the age, the date that the document is being created, preferably the address, and also declare that, we are in our sound state of mind, and we are doing this without anybody's influence or pressure. So that's the declaration part. And we could also write the purpose. Okay, I'm creating this will because I want to assets are distributed appropriately as per the will that I have or as per my wish, right? So that's one. Second is to ensure that we list the assets to distribute. Now, many times what happens is, okay, Akash, what I don't want to write all the assets. Good, no problem. A will does not mean that if we have 185 assets, all of those 185 assets have to come on the will. It doesn't mean. Whatever assets do not come on this will be distributed through the legal hire system of the state, right? That is what I called as intestate. So if an asset is intestate, which means you have not mentioned in the will, it is intestate. The state will decide based on legal hireship to whom that asset should be distributed, right? So you will list those assets that you want this will to distribute. You have 185, but you are writing this will only for 7. Great. Write this will only for those 7. Don't worry about the remaining 185 minus 7, which is 178, because that will get distributed using the state's legal system, right? Then the next very important aspect or the building block of the will is who should receive what. That who can be an individual, that who can be an organization, that who can be a trust, that who can be a charitable institution, anything. Yeah. So who should receive what is the next building block. The next building block is, let us say we are saying, okay, one of, I have, for example, I have 4 children, right? And I am giving a share of property to each of these 4 children, out of which 2 children are actually minors, which means they cannot, legally be binding until 18 years of age. So until such time, we should have a desired guardian for the minors, right? Legal guardian is different from desired guardian. Then for pets, it's very, very important. Maybe I don't know how many of you have pets, but people are really, really attached to their pets, sometimes even beyond their own family members. So Jagan, you'd be surprised. They appoint guardians even for the pets.
I just read Ratan Tata also left something for his pet dog.
Yeah.
He adopted from railway station, I think. I read it soon after his demise.
Yes. Not something, a lot. And to specially abled, not only children, specially abled people, right? Need not be children alone. And a good practice is also to appoint an executor if required. Of course, that is not mandatory, but if you do appoint an executor, we make the mention of that executor in the will. Who is an executor? An executor is an individual who is going to carry out whatever you have mentioned in the will, right? The way you have mentioned in the will. They are the executors. So if you don't write any executor, it'll still be carried out, but you just don't know by whom. But if you write an executor, they will carry it out, or they are obligated to carry it out.
Akash, do these executors need to be relative or can be anybody?
Not required.
But it
They
has to be
need
somebody.
not be relative.
Okay. So
They
what is
need to be people above 21 years of age.
okay? What will be their powers to buy, sell, invest? What is it?
No, they won't have those kind of powers. Those kind of powers only come to the executors of a trust, TRUST, trust. Here, what they are, what is their obligation is to, morally make sure whatever is there in the will happens to the best extent possible. They don't have the rights to sell. They don't have the rights to transfer it to their name and then transfer it to the actual no.
Sir, can the executor misuse his role?
They cannot, because there is no legal binding to the executor. Let us say you don't write in the will who is the executor, right? Versus you write who is the executor, there is no change at all in how the will is going to be carried out. So typically in families, what they do, Jagan and I think Sanjay was speaking, is that they will write the family lawyer's name as the executor. And
Oh, I got it.
you may have seen in the movies and all, right? So the one lawyer comes in the briefcase and he opens, yeah, see, I'm supposed to read this will out to you, and he breaks the news to the family. Such kind of drama. Right? But then they have no rights. Right? They can't do anything. At least in a banking process, the nominee gets the money. Here, an executor doesn't even get the money. Sorry, somebody was asking a question.
Yeah, Akash, I was about to ask you. So the executor executes whatever is there in the will, probably sort of a caretaker or a property manager, something like that.
He is aware. He is the person who is aware that there is a will like this.
Clear.
And he makes the family aware that there is a will like this. That is all. And he's also a witness, actually. He is also a witness. He or she is also a witness. Yes, Akash wrote this will in his, best abilities without anybody's undue influence, so on and so forth.
Sir, this can be written in the white sheet, or is there any legal document has to be written? And the other point is that suppose whether after writing this will, it has to be informed to the family members, or they can keep it confidentially, or how it has to be maintained.
Yeah. So there is no legally, a stamp paper or anything on which it needs to be written. It can be written on a plain white paper. But with appropriate, all of these, 4 blocks have to be there. There has to be a title, and then the declaration, the purpose, and it has to be signed. Yeah. It need not be written on a green sheet. It need not be written on a 20 rupees stamp paper or 100 rupees stamp paper. Nothing of that sort is mandatory. Everything has the same legal validity. That's one part of the question. The second part of the second question that you had was whether family members need to know. No, they need not know. You can keep it in the safe. Have somebody know that there is a will, right? So only that person needs to know that there is a will. That's all. Did I answer your question? Was that Krishnamurthy?
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Great. So this is how we make the will, right? First, we have to ensure that we are 21 and above. A will made by anybody who is less than 21 years is invalid. We draft the will. As asked by Krishnamurthy, we can write it legibly. See, the more ambiguity we create, the more chances are there that it could be misinterpreted. Yeah. So create less ambiguity. How do we create less ambiguity? Number the pages, sign on each page, write on only one side of the page, preferably type it instead of writing. So that is how we can reduce the ambiguity. It has to be serialed, and it has to be a proper document. It can be on a white paper itself, not a problem. And then this will needs to be attested before two witnesses. So two people have to witness the will. And it needs to be kept in a safe place. The option is to register it at the local sub-registrar's office, but it is again very, very optional, not at all mandatory.
And the beneficiaries cannot be witness.
The beneficiaries cannot be witness. No, actually, nothing of that sort. They just that they need to witness that this will has been done at this place while this person is sane. That is all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good. How many of you, tell me, have you guys ever made a will for yourself? No?
No.
But you know, Jagan, for some reason, the whole world believes that will has to be only done by senior citizens, or once we attain the seniority in the senior citizen stage.
Akash, I heard of another reason. If I make a will, no. The first sentence what they told me was, people who have seen or experienced full life and they have achieved everything in their life only will make will. Once they make a will, they will die. Or people are about to die. So if I make a will, I will die very shortly. So what does it need? Let me.
I think.
Okay. Sort of.
True. But I think these are just myths that go around. Because what we see typically look at, even for tax, I think that's not covered in this presentation, but will is also very, very essential for tax planning. It's a very important tool for tax planning. Right? So if you look at all the large, corporations, I mean, business owners, everything, they have a will from the time they are able to have a will. It is one of the most important, things, like how we have insurance. Everybody has insurance. Like that segment, everybody has a will. So that there is less ambiguity. All of this is managed properly. The family doesn't break up. Who have to be taken care are taken care appropriately, because, life is just uncertain.
It's also about, I think, succession planning in businesses.
Very much, yes. So how to keep the legacy going in a business, like as rightly pointed out, who has to manage the estate, the family affairs. So we call it succession planning, we call it estate planning. So many things are essential, for which will is not the only method to get there, but a very fundamental method to get there. Jagan, we are talking about will. I will tell you, we don't take our nominations seriously. Forget will.
Bank.
We don't take our nomination seriously. Yeah. On our demat accounts, on our bank accounts, on our mutual fund folios. Provident fund, I know because I'm in compliance, I know all this, right? People have had a nominee who has died 15 years ago. And now this person has died. They went in search of the nominee. Nominee is also died. What to do now?
Actually, there are, I do not know, a lot of fixed deposits as well as insurance claims unattended.
Yes, very true.
It's in crores, I think. Both are in crores. LIC in crores and fixed deposits in banks.
Fixed deposit, actually fixed deposits, 1 lakh crores is lying unclaimed for. And as you rightly said, about 3 or 3.5 lakh crores in other financial assets are lying unclaimed for from
LIC.
Yeah. had they had a will, it would have at least gone to the beneficiary. Anyway, so any question in this making of a will? Any question? And I hope, whatever time we have spent together today, it just doesn't, finish off as another webinar, but you actually go and write a will for yourself. Don't think too much, just write and keep it in the safe. And you can always do a better version once a year.
If you have a single child, I mean, how and you don't write a will, so how serious? I mean, serious it is the transfer.
See, if we have a single child, then again it depends on whether they are married or not. Because if they are married, then the question is, okay, whether they have children or not, because then they also become legal hires for distribution.
Okay.
Akash, for
Right.
this question specifically, say for example, when my grandfather died, my grandmother was there. My father
Yeah.
was there, my mother was there, I was there.
Okay.
So the first person to be nominated or the higher to my grandfather was my grandmother,
Yeah.
then my father,
Yes.
then my mother. So the hierarchy worked out there. Then when my grandmother expired, then my father became number one. Number two
See,
was my mother, then I came down.
correct. So typically, Jagan and Sanjay, all of this, if things don't go wrong, they work classically well. But I'll give you one example where the husband and wife were actually not in good terms. They had a child. They didn't get divorced, but they were separated. They were not in good terms. And the family had the father, the boy's father had about 50 crores worth of assets. Right? Now, legally, it should go to him as well as to his son, who's the grandson of of the father, right? So here, if everything was fine, it was no problem going to the grandson. But because there was a dispute and they were already separated, living separate for many years, uh, they still claimed a stake on that, and they got it because that's what the legal system does. It just goes by the law. Did I answer your question a bit? Hopefully. So one of the other things we've seen: avoid family fights, appoint guardians for minor children, distribute wealth as per your wish. One of the other things is also care for senior citizens, right? So I am there. I not only should look who's below me, I mean, to whom should I give? I also should look at my spouse. I also should look at, okay, if there are parents, what about them? I am there, I am taking care of them. Yeah. But after my departure, who's going to take care of my parents? Right, Jagan?
Right, Akash.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I actually had this slide, because the first, second, and third we've already covered, but the fourth one is also something which is our responsibility. Great. I think I've taken a long time, Jagan.
It's
Over to
10
you.
minutes. Yeah. Akash, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful session. Thank you, participants, Ravi, Venkatesh, Krishnamurthy, Sanjay, Rajagopal. Uh, it was very nice to have you here. Friends, we have this webinars happening between 9 to 10 p.m. on all Tuesdays. Here we have a small and quick poll which you'll have to answer. May I take this opportunity to request you to kindly share your feedback. This will keep us moving and help us to move forward. Now, there are two questions to this. And the first one is, please share your rating for this webinar and how can we make these webinars better. So these two answers are something which we look forward eagerly for you to restructure and reshape our functioning styles. As I told you earlier, all our focus is on seniors, the family members, and the caretaker. We have 8 people. I think Mr. Rajagopal just joined in. Yes. And as you're giving your feedback, I'm just posting our community link. You can just click on the link. You'll be joining our WhatsApp group, which is a one-way communication. You'll be receiving only details of our program in that. So there'll be no spamming. Probably 2 messages in a week about our programs. That is all we will be sharing here. We've got 3 people, and I think I'll close with one more polling. So in the meantime, I would also like to inform you that our next webinar, which is happening at 9 p.m. on next Tuesday, will be on the topic Unlocking Harmonious Family Conversations. So this session will be mostly revolving around conversations, what keeps a conversation going, and what stops us from building on our conversations. As you know, conversations are the basic thing of building a relationship and a bonding inside a family. It is much more deeper than the general term which we use as the word communication. And any Q&As, the floor is open. Akash, the floor is over. Back to you.
Thank you. Jagan, we just have, I think one person hasn't polled yet. I request whoever it is to kindly, use the poll and convey your feedback to us. That's the only way of how we know whether we are doing good, we are not doing good. If so, what and how we can improve ourselves. So kindly use the poll and give us your feedback. Otherwise, I know we have discussed most of the questions while we were,
Sir, we have only
going
one
through this
question.
session. Yes.
Sir, sir, once we get the will, whether it has to be get registered, or what would be the follow-up of the will document?
So to understand your question correctly, once we have prepared the will, should
Yes.
we get it registered or not?
No, not I am asking about the will. Once we get the will, so we will take over of that assets. And again,
Yes.
that assets has to be get registered with the legal documents, or
Absolutely. Yeah. That is very important. So the transfer of, the change of ownership or the transfer of ownership has to happen. And for that to happen, different, financial institutions or different assets will have different ways of how that can be transferred.
fine.
Yes. So that must happen. Otherwise, the things may change and something else may happen.
Okay. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Sir, in the polling, that last line, I wrote something, but there was not enough space. I think it was not allowing.
Okay.
So I just wrote cyber fraud instead of victims. How to prevent, like what senior citizens are getting affected by that. So
Okay, by that.
it stopped at VIC.
Okay. Got it.
That's it.
We will add a TIM, but what we could also do is we will share you a link of it may not be exactly cyber fraud, but we've done a webinar on this topic. We will share you that link, Sanjay ji.
Okay, sir.
And you can go through it. It's quite useful. It will definitely be useful.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay.
Akash, you got a question there.
Will probation is a must to get a clear title from immovable properties listed in a will. That's what I also mentioned. I think somebody has added their comments also. Very true. Very true. Fantastic. Krishnamurti, Rajagopal, Ravi, Sanjay, all of you have been outstanding, audience today. Thank you so much for participating and contributing positively to the meeting. We look forward to meeting you again on the next Tuesday, same time. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
friends.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.